Hello, we'll be covering in this video IBM AIX training. I call this the 80-20 training. Um, Trying to solve 80% of the problems with 20% of knowledge. This is the first introductory class. Hope you enjoy it. Hope it's informative. We'll try to keep it quick and basic on this first session. Today, so basically we'll go with a little bit of the introduction to the class and go over Unix file systems, file and directory manipulation, file searching, packaging, compression, using input and output, standard in and standard out, and we'll touch a little bit on VI editor, which is standard on all Unix and Linux systems, which every admin must learn. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. The slide is there. You can go read through it. But basically, some time back ago, they needed a system which was multitask, multi-user. So the programmers created and didn't have anything that would be able to, develop something of that with their requirements. So they actually developed the C language and wrote the Unix operating system. And of course, it was very, you know, it was the infancy of it, very simple operating system at that time. But at that time is when, the system actually was born, as we can say. And from there, many different versions of Unix were created from the original, from AT&T's Bell Laboratories. System V, AIX, Advanced Interactive Executive. I don't know where they got that name from, but oh well. These are some basic websites you can visit for additional online documentation, and there is tremendous amount of documentation online, and uh, and sometimes there is maybe too much documentation online. So you really have to look through it, go through it, and see which is helpful. And some might be very useful, some might be not as useful. There's a tremendous amount of reading you might have to do in order to to get the right one. And once you get the right one, it's a good idea to either bookmark the website or copy and paste that information somewhere. Good note-taking skills and is very essential. And being an AIX or Unix administrator, being organized, and so forth. IBM has this Red Book series. From my understanding, is that most of the authors are volunteers, and they come together and write these books, guides to help us understand the IBM products a little bit better. And of course, we always have the man pages that we can use. So that's always available for us to learn from. Not always my first source uh, or preferred source, I would say. Sometimes it is my first source, but it's not always my preferred. Sometimes very difficult to understand the mind pages, uh, and it's sometimes if you're looking for a particular an option or a parameter, it's a pretty good it's a good to use the man pages to look up that information. And a lot of times at the man pages have examples in the bottom. Those are always useful. Log into the system for the first time. Basically, you'll get a login prompt, and you type in your ID, and then you'll be prompted for a password, and you type in the password. Um, and it's pretty much straightforward. You'll see that, if you're doing a fresh system installation, uh, you'll see this welcome to AIX. Most of corporations would change that, so it doesn't say welcome. It would say more of a, um, authorized personnel only, authorized use only, and so forth and so forth. Or if in order to log out, you just type in exit, and you're able to, and your session will be ended, and you lose a PuTTY session. This is the PuTTY application right here. Unlike Windows, Unix, Linux has a different hierarchical setup. Windows have different drives: C drive, D drive. Um, one disk can have many drives, or one disk can have one drive. With Unix, uh, the disks are partitioned, and those partitions uh, are bounded to a file system. This segments the disk in such a way that it helps in not there's not a whole lot of defragmentation that needs to be done. It's more efficient, and it's more there's less disk maintenance that needs to be done on the Windows systems. So the top is the root file system, and everything starts as the slash is referred to as the root file system. The user who is the administrator is also referred to as root. So everything else goes down from there. You can have files directly from root, or you'll have separate file systems. So here's an example. If I do a df-g, this shows you the different file systems are mounted on. Okay, these are the partitions, and these are the file systems. So the first file systems is root, user, var, temp, home, proc, and opt. And these are the AIX basic and standard file systems. And every AIX server you will go, you will see these names every time. And that's a good standard compared to like Linux. If you go from one Linux to the other Linux from one company, even within sometimes the same company, you have different naming conventions. Some people will say VG root, some people will say root VG, um, on OS VG. Everyone has their own way of naming it, and some people have different ways, different type of file systems, partitioning them. So AIX is nice, which they have a standard file system that they follow for all of their servers. This is some basic use of this the change cd command. It's a simple command, change directory. If you do cd space dot dot, it moves to the parent or the previous directory that you're on. If we do cd space slash temp, that moves you to the temp directory. Now this is referred to as absolute or complete path. And if you do a cd space dot slash temp, this moves you to the temp directory, which is located in your current directory that you're located in. And we'll look at this on the server. Cd space temp this is very similar to this command. This moves the cursor to the directory that's in your current directory, if there is one. Cd space tilde student, this moves you to the home directory of the student. Okay, so depending on where you are, if you do cd space tilde student or the username, that will move you to his home directory. Cd space $home, this will move you to your home directory. $home is a variable, and that variable is set to your home directory. So when you do cd space $home, that moves you to your home directory. Another way to move quickly to your home directory, if you hit cd enter, that will also move you to your home directory. The pwd command will print your current working directory. So let's look at some of these examples really quick. So if I do a pwd, that shows me that I am in the /temp directory. Now I can go to the home directory and do the ls command. I can go into this account. Okay, so if I create a directory called temp here. Now there's also a temp over here. This is /temp. This is home /Khalid/temp. So these are two different temps. If I want to go to this temp, I would have to go cd space /temp. Okay, so that took me to this. So if I do a pwd, that shows you where I am located right now. Where's my cursor right now? If I want to go to that Khalid home directory, now since I am in /temp, I would have to give a complete path, home /Khalid/temp. Now I am in that directory, and there's nothing there, of course. Okay, so this is how it works. Now let's see. So again, if you do cd space, so my working directory is this, home /Khalid/temp. If I do cd space pwd, now it just took me back one parent directory. I can do it twice also. I have to do it like this. Now it took me back two spots. And I can do that many times depending on how much I am into the directory structure. Since I am root, I can become another user by using this command. And now I'm in his home directory. Now if I go to another location, if I hit cd and enter, now where I am back into my home directory. So it's good to understand between relative path and complete path. They will make your life easier. If you have any questions, just look through this, read through it, practice it. Hopefully, this should help. I spent some time on this, trying to make sure that this is straightforward and clear. Here is some basic simple command. ls is a command I was running very frequently. It lists the files in the current directory. Okay. cd that we just looked at, change directory. pwd, print working directory. mkdir, that creates a directory. We don't use the word folder. Folder is a term that Windows administrators use. We use the terminology directory. MV command can be used in two ways. One is it can move a file to another location, or it can rename a file. So we'll look at some examples really quick on that. Copy, same thing, very straightforward. It copies a file. Link, ln command, it creates a symbolic link. -s creates a symbolic link. Without a -s, it creates a hard link, and we'll touch on that on another time. What touch command does, it just basically creates an empty file. That's all it does. And rm removes and deletes the targeted targeted files. You can also, depending on what parameters you give, you can also remove files and directories. rmdir removes directory, um, and not too much used nowadays because of people just go ahead and say rf minus rf, and that will basically delete anything and everything that you basically want. Okay, this is part one of the introduction class, and we'll finish up the remaining of this class in the part two. Basically, we'll go again over additional commands, file names, how to search, and some utilities in Unix, which are standard, and then we'll touch base a little bit on the VI editor. Okay, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the first session. Thanks. Bye bye.